Hello and welcome. This is Dawn, and welcome to Life Daily with Dawn. We are doing a 12-day series, and this is day 12. We are calling the series Diamond Dimensions, and we're discussing the 12 facets of change and how we will be changed forever in the passage through the next 7 years, the period of 2020 to 2027. These 12 patterns of potential that we have been discussing are gateways to our collective soul story. They will support us in the creation of a new society, specifically in the creation or co-creation of systems and structures that will help us as a whole of humanity to find a whole new way forward together, stepping into the soul of society, into a new era rich in love. We've been talking about the 7 gates: the gate of foundation, the gate of change, the gate of harmony, the gate of truth, the gate of balance, the gate of connection, and today the gate of creation in the 7 years to come. And the opportunity that will be presented in these 7 years to return to our collective soul story, to embrace the 7 wonders of the soul: faith, hope, love, healing, growth, passion, and beauty. Today we're talking about beauty in particular, and as we pass through the gate of creation collectively in the year of 2026, so 6 years out, we will have the opportunity to begin to truly face forward at that point and look toward a future and really step into a new framework for systems and structures and embrace wholly our freedom. So again, today's focus is the gate of creation in terms of the 7 gates of transformation, the soul wonder of beauty in terms of the 7 wonders of the soul, and our collective focus in the year of 2026 in terms of the 7 years of collective change. So today is number 12 of the 12 dimensions of change, and our C symbol, soul essence art symbol today, is entitled Strawberry Rose. This is an invitation to our collective life. 2026 will be very much about the radical reclamation of beauty, the 7th of 7 wonders of the soul. And it's a passage that's about stepping into the radiant realization of who we are, individually and collectively, through creation. Creation and creation from the seed point of the circle of recreation. And it's really about the recreation or redefinition, if you will, remembrance, reclamation, realization of who we are as one people. So the questions that can guide us, there are 2. One is, how will we step into the field of forever in our own individual lives, in our relationships, within community, and for the whole of humanity? The second question is, how will we create a new vision and come to life and live in full expression as one people, stepping boldly into that circle of recreation? So this is very much about a new vision. It's about the field of forever, which we'll talk about in a second. So true beauty, as I was looking at the C symbol, I was contemplating, what is true beauty and what is the opportunity for us collectively as we look at these systems and structures to be a part of reclaiming beauty. What does that mean? And I was thinking that true beauty is cultivated as we face forward, and it's brought to fruition as we embrace a framework for freedom that requires only that we live within each now moment where our next opportunity window always exists. So through that window, the next opportunity window, that moment of the now, we will look out upon a field that we've always seen in one way, and then we'll watch it transform before our very eyes. I talked about this a little in the previous video I made on this general topic, which I will link to in the blog and below if I remember to put it in the video comments as well. And the theme that I was given for this year of 2026 is, oddly, strawberry fields, or Strawberry Fields Forever, which of course brings to mind the Beatles song, which you can listen to and read the story behind the song, or listen to it in the previous video I made, or the links on the blog. So keep that general theme in mind, and I do invite you to really go listen to that other video, because I talk a lot about the symbol of the strawberry and really fascinating what the strawberry represents, and then the song itself, Strawberry Fields, and sort of the opportunity to broaden the lens again. So that's in general what this C symbol speaks to me about. But let's take a look at some of the qualities for thriving together, um, and how we might do that as we create sustainable systems for flourishing humanity that are suggested by this C symbol. So the first thing I want to bring our attention to is to go right to the center, as we do often, and look at the navigational wheel symbology that's there, the little spiral knobs on the, what looks like a ship's wheel, the captain's wheel on a ship, and once again, the star symbols, and yet there's this sort of like, I don't know what to call it, like it's almost like a pirate's edge to the, like an edginess to the symbology in the center of that flower, the larger flower that's in the center. But primarily what this speaks to me about is that ability to navigate. It's like a wheel of life by which to navigate a changing world and to guide our systems. It's as if the navigational systems themselves within systems and structures that we have created in the past have been faulty, or not. We haven't been using the right mapping systems to navigate the choppy waters of change, so to speak, and we haven't been accounting fully for all of the environmental factors which affect our journey, our collective journey as one humanity, and then within each system, and the journey that each sector of society is making, and how there is a dance of life that is always going on. So this idea of a navigational system is really indicative of the systems we'll create in the future, and it's an important quality that needs to be a part of the design of systems from the start. There's also in this C symbol, Strawberry Rose, which is such a beautiful name, isn't it? And it's like there's an appreciation here for the unique blueprint and patterns of potential that are represented by an individual system or structure. That is very evident to me in this sort of snowflake, flower-like shape with the vertical lines of different sizes that are making up the outer or suggesting the outer line of that form. But it's like it could be several things, and it's in process. It's becoming, it's evolving, it's changing, it's growing. It is becoming more of what it is, and yet singularly magnificent and unique in its design. And you can see with these protrusions that might be leaves, or they might be angel wings, or they might be feathers, or they might be the stems of the strawberries. It could be a lot of different things, and that's what's beautiful here. And so for me, I'm drawn to that central flower, and is reminiscent of a snowflake to me, and the life within it that is just, there's a purity within it that is indicated here. And so the appreciation for the unique blueprint that each system or structure brings forward is going to be a characteristic that will be important in the systems and structures that we create in the future. The strawberry rose C symbol that we have here to guide us in this passage to a new society, and particularly through the gate of creation in 2026, there's also the suggestion here to me of a frame of love through which we choose to see ourselves, and how we see each system or structure is it changes when we look through that frame of love, and how we see the sector of society that is served by a particular system changes when we look through the frame of love. And it's like I keep being drawn to that snowflake and the sort of lacy pattern of purity and innocence. And when we see through the eyes of purity and innocence, and see through the eyes of beauty, then everything changes. Then what appeared to be, going back to the song, and I do invite you to read the story of John Lennon's quotes about when he wrote the song. And when I first was given that theme for this year, it felt all off, because I kind of knew a little bit of the story, and of course I know the song. It's very melancholy in a way. I mean, it's beautiful, but it's and there's a sadness to it, and yet it's so perfect. It's so perfect because all that needs to happen is we need to broaden our lens and see all as purity and innocence. When we look through the eyes of love, everything changes. And so this sea symbol to me, with the roses and the strawberries and the palm fronds and the snowflake pattern and these little angel figures and the roses looking about like balloons and the just the open hands, all of it, the feathery nest-like quality, all of it is suggestive of a new way of seeing ourselves and humanity, a new way of being, and a new way of freeing all all that desires to come to life, to have life and have it to the full. So that frame of love is really important, and it's kind of suggested by all the different pieces of this sea symbol to me. The palm fronds are interesting. They also, when I drew them, I was guided to draw them, and I was like, that doesn't seem to fit here. And my inclination when I draw these super quick, so I don't actually let myself think, but the thoughts do come. I let them go, but the thoughts come, and the thought that came was that doesn't seem to to fit here, and yet it fits perfectly. Whether you see it as a feather or a palm frond, I'm talking about the light gray shapes that protrude out from behind that snowflake, and are to the right of each angel-like figure that's holding this rose that's all lit up, the strawberry roses. And so these palm fronds are just perfect because it occurred to me, and I did look up the symbolism for this one. It occurred to me that it's a celebration from the divine of the victory of humanity and the the return to the eternal. You could call it the eternal fountain of youth, or the eternal life that is the gift of God. And there's an indication of the peace of victory as well. Palm fronds are associated with a lot of things, the triumphant entry in terms of Christianity, but also with the Olympics, early Olympians, and athletic competitions. It was the palm frond that was placed upon the victor, and or you might see them as feathers, and feathers also have a interesting symbolic value in terms of freedom. And there's both shapes to me are suggestive of a newness and a restoration and a crown of victory, our crowning glory. Not to mean that every system or structure in society is regal, but rather to suggest that it's almost the opposite. It's that there is an equality, that a return to a balance and an understanding that all is love, and a celebration of humanity itself, through the existence of these new systems and structures that we will create. So there's a leaning into the victory of peace and eternal life, that is suggested by the strawberry rose sea symbol. When I look at this one also, there's a willingness to face forward in spite of our grief and loss, and to do so, even to manage to do so, to draw upon a reservoir of resilience, and to not only face forward, but to do so with new eyes, continuing to see through the eyes of love, as you see on that strawberry there. And look at that huge smile. It's like there's a sense of humor and a reconnection through that humor with the eternal story of life that shines through any play of light, any and every play of light that is the story of humanity. And it is all a play of light, because the darkness is always brought to light. And all of it works together to serve our progression into beauty. See, beauty is the culmination of the seven wonders: faith, hope, love, healing, growth, and passion. And beauty it's everything coming together, and everything meaning everything, all of the journey that we have made together within a system or structure, or perhaps it's a new journey. The journeys that we individually have made to this point, the journey that the sector of society served by a particular system or structure has made, and a celebration of that journey and the whole of it. There is no more piecemealing it. It's wholeness. Everything is rooted in wholeness. And in the systems and structures that we create that are most beneficial and are of true service to society, there is, again, this willingness to embrace the future and to step forward with confidence and with grace, and not to distance ourselves from the grief and the loss and the sadness, and perhaps even at times the righteous anger that may arise within us in terms of the failure of systems and structures that we had created previously, but rather to take it all and to allow ourselves to begin again, to not focus on the end, but rather always the beginning again, and the stepping into the fullness of who we are, the fullness of life. That's something else the strawberry really speaks to. It speaks to abundance and nourishment and a willingness to be resilient and to grow where we are, to bloom where we are planted, so to speak, and also to offer our seeds for life to, in a particular way, in a particular area, for a particular calling, but always, always with that one seed that is the core of humanity, the light and the life and the love we are, and seeing through those eyes and being willing to be a representation of that, and to celebrate freedom. There's also, I think, this rose of light. I looked at this for a long time, trying to decide what I thought it represented, and I think that it's a rose of light that rises up from a seed that we once thought corrupted beyond repair. And it's also a symbol of the light, of the divine light that is there for us always. And it's like that light, the light that rises up from all we thought was lost due to the darkness, and the light given to us from beyond. All of that is raised like a banner of love above us, above a system yet connected to it, above the systems and structures we create and shower down upon it, but connected to it. And it's as if, we finally understand that when we draw upon that core of humanity in our all endeavors, that banner of love does fly over us, and it is the flag of freedom, the flag of true freedom. And this rose of light, the strawberry rose, also reminds me very much of a willingness to return to that innocent and purity that I talked about. And beyond that, to see the miracle made manifest in our midst and not be afraid to acknowledge it for what it is, a miracle, the miracle of life flowing out like a river of light, And even in that rose of light, there's like a playfulness to me. It's like those little shapes, as you could see them as angels or divine spirit or the Holy Spirit, or it looks also like a dolphin-like or otter-like the little otter swimming around, having fun. And there's just a lightness and a joyfulness, yet without the need to pretend. There's no pretense in this at all. There's no pretense. As a matter of fact, those central, I haven't decided what they are, flames or seeds, but the little pink almond-shaped figures that are in the leaves coming out from that snowflake flower, they are, to me, a symbol of all that has been. And it's almost as if a choice to honor the journey we've made and not to dwell on it. Again, we're future facing forward into the strawberry fields forever. And yet there's no denial of what has been. But there is a choice to embrace innocence and purity and begin again, to see the miracle and celebrate it, to allow ourselves to receive the gift of joy, and to see ourselves and our efforts through systems and structures as beautiful again, and not just write ourselves off. So it's about beginning again in innocence and purity. There's also an honoring of the fragility and the vulnerability, that those two things, the fragility and vulnerability, are actually the bedrock of a new foundation rooted in faith. And the beginning, the fragility and vulnerability are suggested to me by the really thin nest-like quality of the structure that's holding this thing up. If it is up, or is it floating in space? I'm not sure, but it's like there's a fragility and a vulnerability that is actually the basis of the sustainable system. It's the bedrock of a new foundation that is rooted in faith, hope, love, healing, growth, passion, and results in beautiful systems and structures, snowflake-like, each one. And the fragility and vulnerability, the willingness to be where we are and to be who we are, imperfect as that seems, is in fact, again, the birthplace of a strength and a valor and a courage to carry on, not in spite of our failings, but rather with an honoring, a vast honoring of the journey that we're making together and have made to this point and will make. And it's a celebration also of our collective choice to come to life and live in full expression. And so just as we honor the places where there have been failings, we also admit we don't know it all. We're making this effort, we're rebuilding, and who knows if it'll all be swept away, but we honor the fragility and vulnerability. We honor ourselves in the unknowing, and we trust in life, and we choose fate, and we move forward into a future yet unknown, knowing that it is this faith and trust that leads to things that are beautiful. And it is this place, as we step into the unknown and walk in the way of wholeness, the way opens up. And this is the miracle that we are called to celebrate in the systems and structures that we will co-create in the future. The strawberry is also a symbol of health and nourishment for all. And that is a primary purpose for all systems and structure. There have been times in the past where we have created systems and structures that actually do not at all exist for the health and nourishment of all, but rather for a select group or a chosen few. And while the systems and structures of the future will necessarily be focused, many of them, on a certain sector of society, they will not survive. It is not sustainable anymore to have systems and structures that pit one group against another, because that has sadly been the basis of many of the systems and structures we have created to date. The last thing I would say that this sea symbol represents to me, this strawberry rose sea symbol, is a true celebration of freedom and a choice within each system and structure to see all people as free, all born free, created free, meant to live free, meant to thrive. We are meant to thrive in our lives, individually and collectively. And there will be a willingness in the future, if we pass through this gate of creation successfully and embrace the wonder of beauty, there will be systems and structures that see themselves as a symbol of that freedom for all and a carrier of that freedom to particular facets of society that may not have fully ever known that freedom or seen themselves as connected to it and to the beauty of humanity. And so the very celebration of the beauty of who we are and the journey that we're making is something that is evident to me in every aspect of this sea symbol, and it is a beautiful picture of the world that we can co-create together as we move from what we've seen as broken or boring or beyond repair, and step into that circle of recreation and pass through the gate of creation and celebrate freedom, and knowing that there is one banner for all of humanity, that we fly in each and every system, and yet that does not make us all identical at all. We are each system, each structure, each individual, each community, each representation of this one light and one life and one love is unique and spectacular and magnificent and wonderful and beautiful. We are born for beauty, to be beauty, and the systems and structures of our future are called to rise up into true beauty through the radical reclamation of who we are together and the radiant realization of this. So how will we step into the strawberry fields forever? How are we going to live that? What kind of systems and structures will we create as we face forward and as we embrace a framework for freedom? As we see that every single now moment is our next opportunity window, and that we can look through the moment of the now, this opportunity right now. We don't have to fix everything. We can simply begin again. We can begin again every single moment, and through the lens of love, and in each moment, we can look out upon the field that we've always seen in one way, with perhaps a sadness, and we can watch it transform before our very eyes. So, strawberry fields forever. I hope you've enjoyed this Diamond Dimensions series. I will be revisiting some of this material. It'll take me some time to, synthesize it, but I will come back for an episode of Life Daily with Dawn when I do have that available in some format and to share with you. I don't know yet what that will look like, but stay tuned for that. And you can refer back to these videos or share them and create your own ideas for life and for all of the ways that collectively we will come to life and live in full expression in the years to come. I wish you well. It is late Saturday night when I'm recording this one because this video falls on what is Easter Sunday, and I hope that if you celebrate Easter, that this Easter is meaningful to you wherever you are, whether you are alone or with family members, or most of us, I think, are in I guess you would call it a lockdown, but remember true freedom today. I think it's beautiful that this one fell on Easter Sunday, and you are beautiful because at your core you are light and you are life and you are love, and this is who we are. And the call of this entire series, and really the Passage to a New Society series before this one, and I've made playlists for both of those, but the call is to collective change and a reclamation of that realization of who we are together. And it's really time for us to step into that and not allow, when we come out of our homes and go back to, quote, life as normal, let's not let it be what was normal before, because what was normal before was not true beauty and true freedom for all. So here's to life and living in full expression, one moment at a time, one day at a time, 1 month at a time, 1 year at a time, in these 7 years of change ahead. And whatever might come, hold fast to the 7 wonders of the soul: faith, hope, love, healing, growth, passion, beauty, and step through these 7 gates of transformation: the gate of foundations, the gate of change, the gate of harmony, the gate of truth, the gate of balance, the gate of connection, and the gate of creation.